Did you know that average sale prices are up slightly on a month-over-month comparison? With this being said, the GTA real estate market is actually struggling right now. This chart that I pulled from the Habistat shows sales volume dating all the way back to 2010. All the data points on the chart are taken from the month of March. You'll see here at the very end, March 2025, there were a total of 1,887 transactions in the city of Toronto, which is much lower than the historic norm. The average over the 16-year period came in at 3,422 units, meaning that we're down 45% from the 16-year average. That's really eye-opening, and it shows just how hesitant buyers are to pull the trigger and to make a home purchase with all the uncertainty going on in the world right now. This other chart shows the entire GTA as a whole, not just Toronto. You'll see my cursor at the end for 2025. The total level of sales transactions from March is the lowest it's ever been, even when compared to other historic times of uncertainty like the 08-09 global financial crisis, a pandemic in 2020, and when the Bank of Canada increased rates at the fastest pace in Canadian history in 2022. Now, with all of this being said, is there stuff selling? The short answer is yes. In this video, we're going to go through the numbers, as we always do, to see how each asset class performed in the month of March 2025. Before getting into that, though, I really want to note that if you're interested in making a purchase in the near future, whether it's tomorrow, next month, or later this year, the one positive that comes from this situation is that you have so much time to do your homework right now. You can make offers with lots of conditions to keep yourself protected and avoid being in a position where you're competing against a ton of other buyers. I've seen a couple of recent examples where properties had an offer presentation date that were unsuccessful. We have one coming up on April 7th with one of our listings, which I hope is a different story. But the fact of the matter is that's where we're at right now. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. I want to start off with a pretty crazy stat. Out of all the active listings in the city of Toronto for March 2025, over 57% came in the form of condo apartments. Meanwhile, freehold properties, detached and semi-detached homes only made up 28% of active listings. Now, if we flip back to see what actually sold, you'll notice that detached and semi-detached properties made up 41% of the transactions in the city of Toronto, and condos represented around 45 to 46% of the sales volume in March 2025. So this is one example that clearly shows us why the freehold asset class is much more competitive than the condo market right now. This brings me to the inventory rates for each asset class for the month. As a reminder before we get into it, 1 to 3 months of inventory represents a seller's market, 4 to 6 months represents a balanced market, and anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. Here's what we saw. Detached properties had 3.77 months of inventory, semi-detached had 2.08 months, townhouses came in at 3.48 months of inventory, and condo apartments across Toronto had 6.04 months of inventory, but in the downtown market specifically, that number was 8.11. Semis are always a pretty hot commodity, so it makes sense that they're still in a seller's market. But detached homes and townhouses are moving into territory where they're leaving a seller's market condition and are entering a more balanced market, which I would say is accurate. It really feels like that day to day out there. Showings are down drastically, and it really seems like prospective buyers have hit the brakes on their decisions for now. Maybe they're waiting for the election, maybe they want more clarity on the tariffs across the border, or maybe they're waiting to see what the Bank of Canada does on April 16th. There's quite a few factors at play right now. Getting into prices, detached properties had an average sale price of $1.678 million in the month of March 2025. These were selling fairly quickly, with the median days on market being 12 and the average days on market sitting at 22 days. The most active price points for this category fell at $1 million to $1.5 million, and then it jumped all the way to the $2 million plus range, where they had 24% of sales occur at that price point, which is pretty interesting. Moving on to semi-detached properties, these had an average sale price of $1.347 million and took anywhere from 8 days to 15 days to sell based on median and average metrics. The most active price point for this asset class came from $1 million to $1.5 million, where more than half of all sales occurred for this asset class. Next up, we will look at condo apartments. Again, these represented 46% of transactions in the month of March 2025. These had an average sale price of $725K, with the median sitting at $619K. These took anywhere from 23 days to sell when using the median metric and 33 days to sell when looking at the average. Unsurprisingly, the most active price point for these properties came from $500,000 to $599,000, with 253 units selling at that price point. It really goes without saying, but pricing and presentation are non-negotiables if you want to get your property sold right now. For the condo market in particular, obviously you want the marketing to be on point to grab the attention of buyers online. But if you're not priced smack at market value, then buyers are not going to be booking showings and your property will sit still. That's a wrap for today's video. I really hope that you found value from everything that we covered today. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me by using that first link down in the description below and pick a time that is convenient for you. Take care, and remember to always trust the process and to always fall in love with your journey.